I have a beginner chair session for you today. I have 2 middle springs on, so let's get started. Seated on your chair, facing the pedal. So we're gonna start off with some footwork. So I want you to be seated either in the center line of the chair or slightly forward. I find the more forward you are, the more challenging it can be, but please play around with it and see what works best for you. So go ahead and press the pedal all the way down. Let's go heels together, toes apart. And then every toe pad is connected. And it should feel like your big toes, or maybe your first 3 toes, are wrapping up and over the pedal. Lift the heels up high. Let's just take the hands behind you. Elbows can be bent, straight. I want you to reach your arms kind of down and back, find this rolling open of the chest and the lift of the spine. So you're either pushing down into your hands or pulling in with your arms. From here, just float the pedal up and then press the pedal down. We pull the pedal in and then press it down. So the challenge here is, can you keep everything stable as you move the pedal? Meaning we're not rocking back and forth, we're not slouching, we're sitting up so tall. And now let's add some breath. You exhale as you pull the pedal in, and then inhale, press the pedal down. You exhale, pull the pedal in, and then inhale, press the pedal down. So this pedal doesn't just go up and down, it moves like an arc. So there's a point where the pedal comes into you, and that's the point where I want you to think of squeezing the back of your legs, and then you press the pedal down. Let's just do 2. And last one here. Press the pedal all the way down, come onto the arches in more of a parallel position. And there's only about a fist distance between your feet right now. Let's bring the arms into more of an Ijumajini arm position. Actively press the arms and forearms into one another so you feel something in your shoulders, your arms kick on. Wrap the toes and heels around and then pull the pedal into you, sitting up tall, and then push the pedal away. Exhale, empty the lungs as the pedal comes up. Inhale, press the pedal away. So it's like you're pulling your heels to your seat and you're trying to close the springs at the top. If you're like, that is not happening ever, don't worry about it, right? You're just thinking about it. There's a lot of power in the thought. Upper back should feel open. So there's a slight protraction there. It just means those shoulder blades are pulling apart. And it should feel like the crown of your head is on the ceiling. You've got 2. And last one here. Press the pedal all the way down, come onto the heels, and then uncross, recross your arms. Same activation with the arms. Your feet are flexed. And now pull the pedal into you. You might kind of roll into the arch here, totally fine, and then press the pedal away. And as the pedal comes up and in, think of pulling your low abdomen away from your thighs. And if that doesn't make sense, just really deepen that exhale as you pull the pedal in. So again, you fully empty the lungs. And then inflate the lungs as the pedal goes down. Let's do 3. Equal press with those feet. And 2. And 1, fabulous. Keep the heels on, press the pedal all the way down, interlace the webbing of your fingers, hands go behind the base of your skull. So feel your head traction up and into your hands, and give yourself just a little nod of the chin, but also a press back, right? So it almost feels like you're about to give yourself a double chin. So just close the elbows and open the elbows. You close and open. All the while the pedal stays down. So as you're pushing the pedal down and away, it should help you to get lift through your spine. Let's do 1 and last one. Maybe that was 2. So open the elbows wide so much you feel your upper back kick on. Don't lose the head to hand connection. You're gonna side bend over to the right, keeping the left hip down. And then stack back up. You side bend over to the left. Equal weight into your feet, no shifting of the legs. Come back up through center. Side bend over to the right. Think of bending at your bra line if you're wearing one. And then come all the way back up. Inhale over to the left. And then exhale, stack it up. Let's do one more of these. Should feel pretty good. And then back up, last one. And then back to center. Take a moment here. Close the elbows one more time. Open the elbows. How those legs feeling? Are they working by keeping that pedal down? We're gonna lift and twist to the right. You lift, lift, lift. Come back through center. You lift and twist to the left. Now, as you're twisting to the left, just take a peek back at your legs and see that they haven't shifted. And then back through center. Again, we lift and twist to the right. Keep that head to hand connection. You're spiraling up, up, up. Back through center. You lift and twist to the left. Keep growing taller. And then back through center. One more time each side. Hang in there. I want you feeling that upper back. Keep the elbows pushing wide across the room. And then back to center. Last one here. You lift, lift, lift. Come back to center. Close the elbows. Let the pedal rise and round your spine and just lean back a little bit. And now push the pedal down. Open your elbows, open your heart. Find a tiny little upper back bend. And then close the elbows, round the spine, pull the belly into the back, lift the pedal. And then push the pedal down and away. Open up your chest, lift the collarbones up. Again. Just make this one feel good. Push the pedal down, lift the heart, open the chest. And then just come back to center, take the hands down, float the pedal up. Nice work. All right. So let's come to standing for a little roll down. So you're about half of your foot's distance away from the pedal and your feet are parallel. All 10 toes are pointing forward. So feel this grounding down through your feet or like a tripod connection to the floor. Reach the arms up to the ceiling. Find your long line. Try to keep your hips over your feet. Nod your chin. You're going to round down. Find your hands to the pedal and pause here. Let the head hang. Feel the lift up through the abdomen and the ribs. Feel like you're pulling the pedal apart just ever so slightly to keep the collarbone open. Take a big breath in. And then on your exhale, you press the pedal down with straight arms. And then inhale, rise the pedal. Now this is a heavy spring, so I want you to use the resistance to get deeper into your rounded shape. You exhale, press the pedal down, 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 and then inhale up. So imagine my fist was at your abdomen, right? Pull away from my fist as you press the pedal down, 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 and then up. Make sure you're not in your neck, right? So think of the arms being connected to your mid-back. Let's change the breath. You inhale as you press the pedal down. And then exhale, pull the pedal up. Should feel like that tailbone is kind of wheeling under you. Inhale, press the pedal down. And then exhale, lift the pedal up. Last one here. Inhale, press down. And then exhale, pull the pedal up. All right, we're gonna take off one spring. So now you should be on one. Actually, let's change that one spring that you have on all the way up to the top. So one spring is off, you have one spring on the top, okay? We're gonna come back to that roll down again, just now we have a lighter spring, okay? So once again, half of your foot distance away, feet are parallel, hip socket distance apart. Reach the arms up to the ceiling, find that full breath in. And then on your exhale, nod your chin, round down, find your hands to the pedal, pull the pedal apart so it feel length out through the crown of the head. Press the pedal down on an exhale, and then inhale, float the pedal up. So it should feel like the base of your ribs are lifting up away from the floor as you go down, and then come all the way up. Last one here, press the pedal down. Now for my flexi people, just try to keep the pedal hovering over the floor so it's not bottoming out. Turn your fingertips facing in a little bit. So now my elbows are kind of pointing out to the side.
Keep this rounded shape with your spine. And now bend the elbows wide so the pedal floats up, and then press the pedal down. Inhale as the elbows bend, and then exhale, press the pedal down. Inhale as they bend. Exhale, empty the lungs as they press down. This is your shape. So think of pulling the pedal apart, elbows go across the sides of the room, and then down. Let's do 2 more. Create as much space between ears and shoulders as you can. Last one. Press the pedal down. Point your fingertips more towards the chair, how we had it. And then as you exhale, roll yourself up. Roll yourself up. Tailbone curls under. Keep your hips over your feet. Take your hands off. Reach the arms up and up to the ceiling. Arms come down. Fabulous. All right, we're gonna step onto the pedal. Hands come to the back end of the chair. So step onto the pedal, toes come on, your hands are at the back edge now. So let's go heels together, toes apart. If this doesn't work for you, find more of a parallel. So toes, big toes are wrapping over, my pinky toes are connected to the pedal. Push down into the hands, round your spine just as what we just did, and feel that tailbone reach down towards your feet. From here, shift your shoulders over your hands, and they're gonna stay there as you lower the heels down and then lift the heels up. Lower the heels and lift the heels. Now, because you can see your heels, your ankles, your feet, or some of your feet, I want you to see that those inner ankle bones are hugging together. And it shouldn't look like that they're pulling apart, coming in, pulling apart, kind of like mine are doing, but we're fighting for it, right? And there's a big opening in your upper back. So again, shoulder blades are pulling apart. Let's do 2 and 1. Lift the heels up high, separate the heels. So now everybody's in parallel. Keep this bigger, exaggerated rounding through your spine. Bring your right knee into your chest. Like so close, it could just almost touch your right ear. Pull your right heel to your seat like you've got a ball behind your knee. That does not change. Lower your left heel down and then lift it up. Lower the heel down, knee pulls in, and then lift it up. Hang in there. And then lift it up. Can you keep your shoulders over your hands? Length out through the crown of the head. Don't let that right knee drop. Last one here, lift the heel up high. Lower the foot. Shake it out. Other side. Bring that knee all the way in. Lower the heel. And then lift the heel. Imagine you had no belly, no organs, and that belly could pull off of that left thigh. How those shoulders doing? Hang in there. You got 3. I'm shaking. And 2. And 1. Lower the foot. Flatten your back out. And just give yourself a little prance. So drop one heel, drop the other heel, maybe sway the hips a little bit. Okay. So with your weaker leg, I want you to step off. Stronger leg, float the pedal all the way up. And we're gonna stay on this spring and we're gonna come down to the mat. All right, so on the mat, I want you to go ahead and lie down on your back. Your feet are gonna come onto the pedal and your legs are about in a 90-ish degree bend. So before we get too much into this, I just want you to pull the pedal down and in. You will know if you're too close. All right, it's gonna feel like the pedal can't even come down. All right, so just maybe do one more and then back up. All right, so once you feel like you're in a good spot, please feel free to adjust, right, later. So let's find more of like the base of the arch on the pedal and like the heel on this edge here, right? So my toes are reaching up and over, all right? And my arms are long down by my side. So feel your tailbone sink heavy into the mat, soften the base of the ribs down, and broaden your collarbones to try and connect those upper arm bones down. From here, you're gonna keep all of those things stable, and now pull the pedal into you as you press the pedal down. You're gonna hold here at the bottom. If you can, I'd like for you to touch your toes to that wooden base there,
and then float the pedal up. And if you have holes there or there's lots of space there, just think of reaching the toes up and over. So the arches connect to the pedal and then float the pedal up. All right, so feet should be about hip socket distance apart. Knees are the same, and then up. And the real challenge here is not letting your pelvis rock all over the place, not letting the ribs flare. And so we're just using those hamstrings to pull the pedal down. And then up. Good, last one here. Pull the pedal down. The pedal is going to stay down. Feel the arms weight into the mat just a hair more. Take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, curl the hips under. Start to lift the hips up. Find your bridge here at the top and pause. Just feel that opening across the front of the hips. Think a hair more weight being into your feet than your upper body right now. And now the pedal's gonna stay down, and then just melt your spine all the way down. Fully release the tailbone at the bottom. Once again, pedal stays down, and then curl the hips under, roll the hips up, up, up. Think pubic bone higher than your 2 hip points. Tap the toes on that base if you can. Soften the ribs, soften the mid back, the low back. Go all the way down, down, down. Release the tailbone. Again, whoop, pedal stays down. Roll the hips up. Feel that opening just across the whole front of your body. And then pull the pedal into you as you lengthen, lengthen, lengthen all the way down. Release the tailbone, float the pedal up, and then pull it back into you. Press the pedal all the way down. Hold here, all right? So once again, hips stay stable. Shift your weight into your right foot. Bring your right leg straight up to the ceiling and just pause here. Just hold. Feel equal weight into your hips, and then just lower the foot down. Shift the weight into the right foot. Left leg comes just straight up. So get a stretch in the back of that leg, and then lower the foot down. Anybody notice a shake or a pop-up of the pedal? Right leg comes up again, and then once again, right, just pause. Arms are weighted, spine is long, no tension in your neck. I want you to draw little circles with that right leg. Tiny little circles on the ceiling, keeping the pedal still, the left leg still, the rest of the body. For 2 and 1, pause, foot comes down, left leg comes up. Find your center, little circles. Or, whatever shape you can make, because right now I feel like I'm making a very awkward octagon here. Right leg stays still. Think of pulling the pedal down and into you. You've got 3 and 2 and 1. Place the foot down. Good, go ahead and float the pedal all the way up. Find center again, and then pull the pedal all the way down. So pedal is going to stay down. Tailbone stays heavy. From here, grab onto the back of the legs. Right? So I'm thinking of pulling with my arms as I curl my head, neck, and shoulders up. Tailbone is still heavy. Think of the belly pulling away from the thighs, and then roll back down. So we're just coming up into a little chest lift. Grab onto the legs, pull your chest up, 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 and then roll back down. All right, let's do that one more time. Curl up, find that ab curl here and pause. Now, can you keep the position of your spine? Let go of your legs, your palms are facing down. Strong reach of the arms. Start pumping your arms for your 100. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Continue to pump, continue to breathe. You still have the activation through the back of the legs, and the tailbone is heavy. Now, if this gets too much into your neck, lower your head down, right? Still pump the arms. The legs are still working. Everything else is working. So notice the bigger your pumps of the arms,
right, the more unstable the rest of the body is. So like right now, my pedal is just hopping just a little bit. Try to stabilize. Let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold here. Lower everything down. And then with control, float the pedal all the way up. All right, just hug the knees in. Straighten the legs up to the ceiling and bend them. Just get a little stretch, maybe roll out the ankles. All right, let's go ahead and roll you up. You're gonna come straddling the chair. So the back of my knees, or really my knees, are in line with this corner edge of the chair, but again, feel free to adjust. So I'm gonna place the heels of my hand on the pedal, kind of at shoulder width distance apart. I'm gonna flex my feet, and I'm gonna think of the back of my legs and my heels kind of digging down into the floor. Sitting up uncomfortably tall. Feel equal weight into your pelvis. Take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, you're just gonna gently pull the pedal down a few inches to lift taller, 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 and then float the pedal all the way up. So the goal here is not to push the pedal down, it's to use resistance to find lift and tractioning of the spine up. Let's do that again. You exhale as you press, you grow taller, 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 and then float the pedal up. You got it. Exhale, press the pedal down, and then float back up. Good, one more time. You press the pedal down, ribs lift, collarbones lift, ears lift, and then float the pedal all the way up. So let's add some flexion to this. Feet stay flexed, so the legs are very much at the party here. Take a big breath in, and then as you exhale, do that same press, but this time I want you to round your spine. Feel your tailbone curl under, and your upper body should feel like it's going up and over something. And then stack the spine all the way back up. Good, let's do that again. You press down, tailbone curls under, belly pulls into your low back, and then all the way up. Good, again. Should almost feel like you're doing a little crunch, but not nearly as much tension on the neck. And then roll yourself back up. Good, now we're gonna stay down there and we're gonna keep flexion, but now we're gonna just do little baby pumps of the pedal, okay? So go ahead and round your spine, really feel energy out through your heels, and then pause here. Think of that pubic bone trying to connect to your navel. Inhale, let the pedal float up, and then exhale, pull the pedal down. Inhale, float the pedal up. Exhale, pull the pedal down. Inhale up. Exhale, pull the pedal down. Inhale up. Exhale, pull the pedal down. Wring out the lungs, wring out the lungs. Pedal comes up. You stack your spine all the way up. All right, so now we add in a little extension. So we did it seated here. We're gonna do it here, all right? So find your tall length. Press the pedal down, but this time feel like the chest rolls open. Take your gaze up the wall. Feel the heart and the sternum lift, lift, lift. Take your gaze back down the wall. Pedal floats up. So think of this as being an extension of just your upper back, all right? So you press the pedal down, collarbones open, gaze goes up, energy down through the heels, and then come all the way back up. It should feel like those shoulder blades are gliding down and slightly in. Again. You've got a beautiful big Tiffany necklace on, show it off to the ceiling, and then come all the way back up. One more time here. I feel like I'm just now getting connected to this movement. And then take the gaze back down, pedal floats up. All right, be careful on this next one. It's very tempting to want to hang and the chair will pull into you, especially if you have a really light chair. So just keep that in mind. So I'm gonna take my right hand onto the center of the pedal. My left arm is just reaching out in front. Once again, legs are energized. I'm sitting up tall. And now as I press the pedal down, just gently with that right arm, my left arm is gonna sweep back. I'm gonna look back at that left hand. I still have energy down through that right arm into the pedal. And then stack the spine back up, find center, left arm reaches out in front. Good, again. You lean back, slight curl of the hips, reach back, go back. You left something in the back seat of the car, and then come all the way back to center. Good, again, you press down,
Energy out through those heels. Feel the right shoulder draw down away from the ear. And then come back to center. It should feel pretty good. All right, other side. Left hand comes on, broadness across your chest. You press down as you reach back. Open up your chest, reach back, look back. And then back to center. Again, keep equal weight into your pelvis. So this side, I need to think about going a little bit more into my left hip. And then back to center. Last one here. Make it feel good. Reach back. Go back, stretch back, and then back to center. All right, so I think we're gonna stay on this spring and we're gonna come to standing again. All right, so coming up to the top of your chair, again, we're gonna stay on this same spring. You're gonna be seated. All right, so the pedal is to my left, all right, and my legs are suction cupped together, and I'm gonna think of pulling my heels into the chair. Now, if you have no space or nothing here, just pull the heels into that negative space, right? So either way, the legs are engaged. Right bicep up to the ear, the palm faces in. Again, think of sitting up so tall you feel the lift out of your back. The left hand is gonna start to reach for the pedal. I'm gonna keep my chest open and my body square. Start to side bend up and over. Find the hand to the pedal and just pause here. Make sure the weight, again, is equal in your hips. And then when you're ready, you press the pedal down, getting deeper into this side bend. You go until you can't go any further. How about those legs? Are they still together? And then pull the pedal into you as you stack all the way back up. Good. Again, you lift tall. You side bend up and over. Think of bending at your bra line, keeping space on that left side, and then pull the pedal into you as you stack all the way back up. Let's do that again. Heels pull in, legs zip up, you go up and over. Again, keep that chest open, and then before you come up, pull the pedal in. Make that left arm longer, and then you stack all the way back up. Now, if you're good with this, with these legs, you stay here. If you want to feel something different, maybe a little bit more challenging, let's straighten the legs. Cross the left leg over the right leg. Hug those legs together. Lift the bottom leg up into the top leg as much as you can. You sit up tall. You go up to go over. Not as much range here. It's okay. Keep that right hip anchored and then pull the pedal into you as you stack all the way back up. All right, legs lower down. Let's do the other side. So I'm gonna turn my back to you. We'll do 3 with the knees bent and then the 1 option to take the legs straight. Legs zip up, pull the heels into that space. Left arm comes up. Again, you sit up tall. You go up to go over. And then pull the pedal into you and come all the way up. Ooh, I got a little stitch there on my side. You go up to go over. So match the reach with the left arm with the reach out through the crown of the head. And then again, come all the way up, up, up. One more time here. That left arm, pull it back just a hair, up to go over. Lift those right ribs off of that right hip, hug those knees together, and then pull the pedal in, stack it all the way back up. There's always one side, right? This is definitely my weaker. Legs go straight if you'd like. This side, the right leg goes over the left leg. So pedal side leg goes over the outside leg. You hug those upper thigh bones together. You sit up uncomfortably tall. You go over, over, over. Keep that chest open. And then pull the pedal in. And then stack it all the way up. Lower the legs. It's crazy how the intensity just goes from 0 to 100, right? Okay, so let's come back to 2 middle springs. Two middle springs. If this gets to be too much, too heavy, please adjust. Maybe go 1 middle, 1 bottom, or 2 on the bottom. So standing facing your pedal, I'm only maybe 1 inch or 2 away from the base of the chair. Again, adjust accordingly. My legs are hip socket distance apart, okay? So I don't care where your hands are at to start, but I want you to bring your right toes up onto the pedal. All right, and just hold here. Just find balance. Hands can be on your hips, they can be out in front of you, out to the side. I'll give you more options later. And just hold here. Lift your right heel up high. And now start to feel the pull of the pedal into you, like we did that hamstring curl. And then just press the pedal all the way down and hold here. Find equal weight into both legs. So it might feel like you have to pitch forward. Keep that equal weight and then float the pedal up, up, up. All right, I gotta reposition my foot just a little bit. Pull the pedal into you, press the pedal down, you grow taller. And then resist as that pedal comes up. It should feel like your right hip is drawing down to your left inner thigh the whole time. And then control it on the way up. So once again, the moving part is challenging all of these things that are trying to stay stable. We've got 3 and 2 and 1. Press the pedal down, hold it down. It stays down. Keep the hips slightly forward, right? So we're not gonna let them go back. You lower the right heel. You lift the right heel, you lower, and you lift. So what happens a lot here is the hips want to go back as the heel goes down. Once again, everything else stays stable. It's just that heel lowering and lifting. You've got 3 and 2 and 1. Lift the heel up high. From here, can you lift your standing heel up? And then lower down. Standing heel goes up. Play around now with your arms. Just see where you like them. Once again, pedal stays down. You've got 3 and 2. Tailbone is long. Last one, lower the heel down, float the pedal all the way up with control. Now, however you wish to get over there, we're gonna spin to the left, right? So right foot is gonna stay on the pedal. And I'm in a turned out position with my right leg. My left leg, let's go parallel for today. If it absolutely bothers you, find a little turnout. So because my hips are tight, I've got to get that right foot forward and my left foot is back. So they're not quite, my feet aren't quite in line with one another. All right, so find a comfortable arm position here. Right hip is drawing down to my left inner thigh. It's trying, all right? So from here, same thing. You pull the pedal into you and then press the pedal down. All right, you control it as it comes up, up, up. I have to move in just a hair, all right? Tailbone stays long, hips are square to the wall in front of me. I pull the pedal in and then I press it down. Knee, think of it going wide and back. So you really feel that right hip working. And then up. Oh yeah. Once again, there's equal weight in both legs right now. So I just noticed I like leaned here, leaned over there. Oh yeah. So it's a lot of inner thighs, a lot of hip, a lot of standing leg. So it should feel like when you pull the pedal in, this standing inner thigh is also pulling in. And then up. Let's do 3. Think of that tailbone staying long and the pubic bone going forward. Let's do 2. Hang in there with me. And last one here, push the pedal down, you pause. Can you lower the heel? And lift the heel. You lower and lift. Remember that knee is pushing wide and back. It's not coming forward. Ooh, I just felt my seat kick on a little bit more. You got 3, hang in there. And 2. And 1, lift the heel up high, float the pedal all the way up, take the foot off. Let's do the other side. So squaring yourself off to the pedal. All right, let's get fancier this time. So let's come to I Dream a Genie arms. Press the forearms into one another. You're standing tall. Shift the weight into your right leg. Bring that left knee up and into your chest. This is your single leg stretch. Place the left toes on and then shift the weight slightly forward to where now you feel more even, and then pull the pedal in as you press it down. Now you can take your hands anywhere from here. I do like to place them on my hips because it's very tempting for the left hip to hike. So do what feels best for you. So this motion is just you stepping up onto something. All right, taking a step up onto a bench, going up steps. Standing leg is strong. Think of like you're trying to kick that pedal back behind you. No tension in your neck. Collarbone is open. How's that standing leg? Probably feels harder on this side because we just worked it. You've got 2. Last one here. Press the pedal down and hold it down. You lower that left heel down as far as you can and then lift the heel up. It's a flex of the foot to push it down and then a point through the toes to lift up. Oh, I can already feel that standing hip talking to me. This one's always so deceiving. It looks very easy, very simple, but that pedal wants to bully you around. Let's do 2. And 1, lift the heel up high, right? Find a stable position with those arms. Lift your standing heel up and then lower down. Standing heel up and down. Now, if this is not for you, right, maybe you just go back to that heel lower and lift on the front leg. All right. Try to keep the gaze forward. If you look down, you will go down. Oh, this side's way harder for me. We've got 3 and 2 and 1. Lower the heel, float the pedal up with control. And now we spin and we turn to the right. So depending on how tight your hips are, remember your standing leg is back and your leg on the pedal is forward. All right, so find your head to tail length, feel that left hip draw down to your right inner thigh. And then from here, you pull the pedal in and then you press it down and pause here at the bottom. Get that equal weight into both feet. So right now my hips are in the center between my feet. And then you're gonna try to keep them there as you float the pedal up, up, up. Press the pedal down and then lift it up. So if you are tight in your hips, you might be feeling a stretch kind of in your inner thigh, the back of your leg. And if you're looking at me thinking, well, her hip is hiked up. Yeah, well, listen to my words, not see me, because this hip loves to come up. Keep growing tall through your spine. The base of the ribs are kind of sinking into your back. Ooh, I am shaking on this one. Make sure that left knee is pulling wide and back. Every toe pad connected to that pedal. Good, let's do 2. And last one, you press the pedal down, you hold here. You lower that heel, you lift the heel. You lower, you lift. That right foot should feel like it's a tripod connected to the floor. You got 3 and 2 and 1. Lift the heel, again with control, float the pedal all the way up and then take the foot off. Whew. Okay, so we are going to take off a spring. So now you should be left with 1 in the middle, 1 in the middle. So standing at the back edge of your chair. So because I've got this wooden base here, my big toes, they're just gonna be touching the base. I can't come any closer, but do what you can here. You might be all the way into the chair, all right? So reach the arms up to the sky. My feet are about hip socket distance apart and parallel. You're gonna nod your chin. You round up and over that chair. Find your hands to the pedal first and pause. All right, just make sure that you haven't sit the hips back. They're still over your feet, just like we did with the roll down earlier. Keep the rounding of your spine and your ribs. You press the pedal down, down, down. And now think of pulling the pedal into you as you stack it back up.
Again, you press the pedal down. My fist is still at your abdomen. And then pull the pedal in, just close the springs. Again, exhale, press the pedal down. Tailbone should feel like it's curling down and under. And pull the pedal in, in. All right, so if you're starting to feel this in the back of your knees, just give yourself a soft bend to the knees, right? No worries. So I want you now to flatten your back. All right, so if you're tight, you might have to bend the knees here. Keep your left hand on. Take your right hand to your forehead. All right, from here, hips and legs stay stable. I'm gonna twist my upper body to the right as I push into that pedal. It's not gonna move a whole lot. And I'm gonna try to lift that right elbow up, up, up. Come back to center, square yourself off. Again, you twist, 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 and then come back to center. Again, let's try an inhale on our twist. Equal weight into your feet. And then come back to center. Right hand comes down, left hand to your forehead. Find your long line of energy out through the crown of your head. You twist, twist, twist. Every side is different, right? So as you twist, yes, there's a push away of the pedal, but once again, think of pulling it into you so the right shoulder doesn't creep up, and then square yourself off. Last one here, try that inhale as you twist, and then exhale back to center. Fabulous. All right, go ahead and just place your hips on top of the chair now, or your pelvis. Hands come to the pedal, press it all the way down. So let's just go ahead and take the legs wide today. If you feel like you're really wanting an extra hamstring challenge, just bring the legs together. All right, so legs are kind of wide. There's a strong point out through my toes. I'm gonna think of my thigh bones just lightly hovering off the chair. So my tailbone stays reaching long, so there's no tension in my low back. Just float the pedal up just 1 to 2 inches and pause. I want you to think of pulling the pedal into you so your shoulders kind of glide away from the ears, and you're gonna hold here. You are doing a plank. You're at the top of your push-up. And just feel the sternum kind of draw away from the floor and gently into your back. And then from here, keep the arms straight and then float the pedal up, rolling the chest forward, coming into that little extension. I say little, it's kind of big. And then press the pedal back down. Good, let's do that again. You inhale as the pedal floats up, you pull it in, in, and then back out. Find your long line. Good, again, you pull the pedal in, heart reaches forward, and then lower down. One more time here. Always go for length over height when you do extension. Come all the way down. Pause here. Find that long line. Feel the base of the ribs lift up away from the floor. Gaze is kind of down when you're not looking at the camera. And then from here, you bend your elbows in narrow and then lower the pedal down. This is your push-up. Pull the pedal into you and then down. Elbows pin back. They kind of scrape your sides and then they straighten. So once again, the challenge isn't the movement of the arms, it's how stable can you keep your spine as your elbows move. It's a little tricep press. You've got 2. And last one here. Let's go ahead and float the pedal all the way up. And we are gonna finish with a pigeon stretch, okay? So take your right leg up on top here. Now, if this is uncomfortable for you, please just go seated on the side here, right? And you can do just a seated pigeon stretch or figure 4. All right, so I'm gonna cue you through this one. So back leg, left leg, kick it back behind you. So feel your hips kind of sink down, but also open up to the chair. Reach the arms up to the sky. And then as you exhale, nod your chin, round down, find your hands to the pedal, and just let yourself kind of fall down. Only to where you're comfortable with, right? And just breathe into this stretch. Use the resistance of the pedal to maybe lift the ribs off of that leg. And now keep your left hand on the pedal.
Reach your right arm up to the ceiling and think of it going back behind you, and then come back to center. Again, right arm reaches up and back. Feel that right knee press down into the chair, and then come down. Carefully float the pedal up. Hands come to the top of the chair. Brace yourself when you take that leg off. Shake it out if you need, and then other side. So feel the hips kind of sink down. That right hip is reaching forward. Arms go up to the ceiling. Big breath in. And then on your exhale, nod your chin, round up and over. Think of sending your breath to any points of tension. Any areas that need opening. Now you can of course stay here, or right hand stays down, left arm goes up and back. Feel that upper back work to reach that arm up and away, and then come back to center. Again, big thoracic opening here, and then come back to center. Carefully float the pedal up, unpretzel yourself. You're gonna take the leg off, and you are done.